whispering. Can you hear when I whisper into this mic?
Try it again.
Phil.
Yeah, oh my god.
It's working. Our tin cans are working. Yes.
Hello,
Welcome to
everyone.
the Quiet Storm.
Welcome to the intro to episode
12.
12. I was
Yeah.
going to say 14. I just want to keep adding numbers.
Yeah. It's we're like Final Fantasy. It's episode 14-12.
Okay. That's weird. My name is Phil.
I'm Chris.
Today, we bring a special guest on the podcast.
We are currently hiding in a closet because there's a girl in the room.
Yep. Caitlin, my now wife. Can I say that? Can I say that on air?
Yeah, but now, but not in the future.
Oh, okay. And she talks her gaming history.
Then she also we touch on and accidentally go into some Mass Effect spoilers in a Mass Effect corner.
Yeah, that was an unintentional. It's nothing too big. We don't
No,
spoil the endings.
It's just Mass Effect 1, a decision that you have to make. We talk about that.
Yep. And then we also touch on Chris playing Alien Isolation and Evolve.
Yeah, I played the Evolve Alpha. I give some of my impressions on that and how I feel about Alien Isolation now that I've finished the game.
And then we wrap up with some tips on life as well as future tips for our 24-hour gaming marathon.
Yep. Caitlin gives some tips to all the ladies out there, ladies in the house.
Everyone get a whoop whoop.
Yep. Whoop, whoop. About dealing with a horrible, awful human being such as Phil if you have a significant other that likes to play video games.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoy this episode here on the Quiet Storm.
It's going to be quite jarring when the music comes in at full volume.
That's fine.
So
Maybe turn down your speakers now.
enjoy.
But people don't care about that.
No.
Maybe they do. Maybe they're secretly
I mean-
like, I want to believe that love is real, and ladies change their names and stuff. I don't know.
No.
Well, Phil also changed his name. I don't know if you listened to the last podcast. So
My name is now Caitlin.
We were trying to get him to change Chester's to McGarrigle. My whole family was on board for that. But
I'm
for
sure
some
they were.
reason,
Yeah.
Phil said no.
Her dad, very, persuasive to try and just switch it to McGarrigle or to make it, hyphenated.
Yeah,
Right.
he wanted you to hyphenate. He also floated Mick Chester's as
Yeah.
Mick
compromise.
Chester's isn't bad. So if you guys have a kid, what's the
Chester's.
firstborn? Chesters. How about that?
Chester Chester's.
I like it.
Good old Chesters.
They guarantee that he'll be successful because he'll be a nerd.
And his middle name can be Mick, and so it's Chester's Mick Chesters.
I like it.
Yeah.
We're
Perfect.
done.
Yeah.
First kid done. That's male or female.
Right, of course. Yeah.
I like it because it's feminine but strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't. That's one of those names you can't make fun of. Like when you're a kid.
No,
No,
it's foolproof.
Yeah.
I've never called anyone Chester the Molester in
Right.
my life.
Yeah. I didn't get that just being a kid at the last
Right.
name Chester's.
And all the molestation you did.
Yeah. Well, I guess I brought that up myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why you were doing all that. You had to know people were going to call you on it.
Well, he was leaning into the name, I think.
Once you get called once, you might as well just embrace it.
Right.
Just start molesting people.
Again,
did.
I'm rethinking some things, just so you know.
Too late.
Yeah.
I have a ring on my finger and you can't take it off because it's very loose.
Yep.
Wait, no. God, it's so dumb. So dumb. Anyways, I hear we're going to talk about video games. You
I
guys do
guess.
that
I mean,
sometimes?
we didn't know how to react around girls.
Yeah.
So
I'm very scared.
How
Yeah.
are both of you in long-term relationships with women? They both looked away.
yeah.
Just so everyone
Yeah.
knows. They avoided eye contact.
No comment.
All
This
right.
is we're not on interview here. You're on trial.
Yeah.
This whole damn podcast is on trial.
All right, well, the whole podcast is you two
Yeah.
coming back around.
Let's get this thing in gear.
Okay. I guess I don't know. I think you should do the introductions this time, Phil. But I'm Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Phil. And with me, as always in life,
Oh, gross.
is
It
my
has been less than a week, guys. Okay?
yeah.
Cool it.
It's been 4 years total, not your whole life.
Okay, well, way to ruin the intro.
Yeah, it only feels like his
It
whole
only
life.
feels like eternity.
But that ray of sunshine is Caitlin, my wife.
Soon to be ex based on your tone.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but it's true. Caitlin, say hello to the people.
Hi.
Let's
Fair
go
enough.
with our standard 3 questions that we ask all of our guests that we've had.
Right.
So many.
All of them from A, Jake Jarvie, to Z, Jake Jarvie.
Yeah.
Our questions.
Is how many zombies have you killed?
17.
How many people have you killed?
Less.
And why? Those are the 3 questions they ask in Walking Dead if they're going to add somebody to their group. So
Is it really?
yeah,
I haven't been watching the show.
I know.
I
Anyways,
don't know anything about The Walking Dead that isn't Clementine related.
Right.
And how many feelings she
Well,
makes
there's our
me feel.
there's our quota for Walking
I know
Dead.
we've hit it. Yes, we did it.
You did it. You
All the balloons.
intentionally brought it in.
Yeah. So the first question would be,
Is it gaming history?
well, that wasn't officially one of the 3 questions. It was, I believe it's,
You guys don't even
why do you play
know.
video games?
Yeah.
What types of games do you play?
And what are you currently playing?
Alright. Why do I play video games?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, let us ask the questions. I know we're doing a really great job.
This is a
Alright.
top-notch podcast.
Settle down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to be cool about
Okay.
this. I currently play video games.
Nope,
'cause-
not the question we asked.
No, okay, so do you want... I need to give you some history. So, like, my brother was really into video games, like, hardcore. And because I was a younger sibling, of course, you just want to do everything your elder sibling does. So I was like, yeah, I like games too. But, like, in the clueless way where, like, we'd play Sonic, and I'm like, I'll be Tails. He's so cool. He's just like Sonic, but not at all.
Right. Out of all the sidekicks, though, he's not that bad.
No.
He basically does the same thing.
Basically.
Yeah.
Except he gets lost on the screen, like, immediately. And then that's great for me because I didn't know what I was doing. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, he's not on the... I can't mess up because he's just not there.
Yeah.
So, like, we had a Genesis growing up, and then we had a Dreamcast for a hot second, and then we upgraded to a PlayStation. And, like, all of that was basically, like, me watching my brother play. I didn't really get started playing until I went away to school. And I was like, I want a DVD player, but I also want to play Kingdom Hearts because I'm a big Disney nerd. So I broke down and bought a PlayStation. And, like, playing Kingdom Hearts is, like, I think when I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to finish this game legit and play games for real. That's probably the first one that I, like, actually sat down and finished. I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot. Like, we downloaded it for the PlayStation 3, and, like, I was on autopilot. I knew where all the gems were and stuff, but there were some that were just impossible to get, and because I don't like being challenged, I just gave up the whole game.
Smart.
Yep.
choice.
It's hard to be a gamer if that's your reaction to things.
Well, I don't like
Yep.
being challenged.
Well, this door's locked. Guess game's over.
I'm out. No, there were some where it was like you have to get every single crate, but some crates were just like, I'm not that great at a joystick.
Right.
I can't even handle one. Why am
Feels
I
like,
running?
yeah.
Yeah, no, he knows. He saw me try
He's
and
trying
play
to make
Portal.
it
That was
sexual.
a sex joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's sex?
We haven't done it
Yeah.
Yeah,
Phil,
that-
I'm so sorry.
that was my revenge for your sex joke.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Sweet. Anyways, I'm bad at the really, like, intricate stuff. If it's more than run and jump, I can't do it. So that stuff was just beyond me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's more of a one plane of
Yeah.
existence.
3 dimensions?
Right.
Like, I tried to, I think, the first game that I really tried to get you to play, well, now, the first serious game I got her to try and play was Portal.
No, I wanted you to play it, and you refused. You're like, no, you want it so bad, you have to play it.
Yeah, but then I ended up taking over
It
because,
was painful for
'Cause
you
you
to
couldn't
watch,
do
I'm
it.
sure.
yeah, well, it was just like, the whole, like,
First of all, they require you to move 2 separate joysticks
Right.
differently.
Yeah.
One's for your body, one's for your vision. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, like, she was fine for, like, the early Portals, but, like, the ones where obviously, like, while falling, you also have to shoot it below you. And,
When it's all timing and momentum based.
yeah, then I was
Yeah.
taking
Then
over.
I'm out. Can't do it. Sorry,
But do you remember
I'm
the first game we played together?
Elo Milo, right? That was fun. Again.
This game called Love.
Yeah. Little, well, I don't even know how I describe it.
It's like a puzzle game. Like, you're these little pillow people, and you're walking around this giant, crazy structure, and you can, like, gravity doesn't really affect you, so if you find the right spot to step on, you can just change planes, and, like, one person will be walking right side up, and your partner will be walking just down a wall, and your goal is to collect your little buddies and then meet up together.
To beat each level, you had to be on the same plane of existence and high-five each other, essentially. But since you start off on opposite ends of the world...
And, like, on different planes of existence.
Yeah, then it was just like, okay, if I do here and rotate here, then I'm on the same level as you, and blah, 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 blah.
How did that go? When was that in your relationship?
That was when we were just dating.
Yeah, that was, like,
when I was
really...
I lived in Palatine, and she would drive over.
Yeah,
and then,
come over after work, like, fine, I'll hang out with you.
Yeah. And because I was living by myself and also poor, it was easy for, like, hey, let's do something together.
Something free.
Video games!
That was when I learned that you have to get everything, and we can't quit the level until we get everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how did you feel playing with him for the first time?
That was fine, because it was, like, a really low-pressure game. Like, it was just one.
Yeah, you can't die.
He wasn't like knocking the controller out of your hands and stuff.
Get it
You're
right!
so stupid. Sit in the cage until you get this right.
No, because it's like a puzzle game. You can't die or anything, and there was no timer. They counted, like, how many steps you took, but I think because no achievements were dependent on steps.
It didn't matter.
He didn't care.
Yeah, that's just a leaderboard. Like,
So.
you can beat this level in 5 steps, and
And
we took 3,010.
And it was cool because, like, there were extra little things you could collect, and sometimes we'd both be looking like, how the hell do we even get up there? So we'd, like, work together to solve it, so it wasn't as annoying that he had to do everything.
Do you think that strengthened your relationship?
I definitely think so, because he didn't believe me that I liked video games. Because, like I
still
said,
don't.
Yeah.
I grew up
Based on what you play.
Yeah, I grew up, like, watching my brother play games, so, like, the ones that I'm not good at, I still like to witness. I just can't do it because I'm stupid with hand-eye coordination. So, like, I came in once and he was playing Dragon Age, and he's like, I'm gonna close it out, I promise. I'm like, no, are you kidding me? This is, like, fantasy shit? I'm gonna sit down and be like, yes, dragons.
Yeah, you'd probably actually really enjoy watching Dragon Age.
But
the problem is you would have to wait to play it then, and that's, I think, why you're...
Well, I already beat it. That
Okay.
was one I beat.
Okay.
Ages ago.
Yeah,
But
when
there's
I
a
was
new
in
one coming
Palatine.
out.
Yeah, the third one.
Yeah.
She'd enjoy.
But you looked horrified when I walked in and saw you playing it. He just about, like, jumped, like, I'm done.
Yeah, because I was always under... I mean...
Based on the other relationships, other girls that you've encountered.
Based on other girls that I've encountered, video games was always...
That was a no-go.
It wasn't necessarily like a door closing, but it was just like, ooh, video games, like that's what you're into.
Right.
So I always wanted to just be that guy who's just like, no, I like to watch TV and cook and play sports with my buds. And those are all things I enjoy doing, but at the same time, like, I would always just kind of skip on the video game stuff. Especially there's a girl that I work with that you know, because you sat at with the wedding.
Yeah.
Brittany, who... Her boyfriend, or well, I guess now her husband.
People keep getting married.
Stupid people.
Yeah. Used to play video games, and she essentially told him that, like, he can't anymore because they're married. Like, that was, like, a killer for her. Like, now they can only play, like, really small, like, Wii games, you know, like, probably Kinect Sports. They broke down and got an Xbox so they can get Kinect. After we showed them Dance Central and Kinect Sports.
I've infected everyone. Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, you're used to girls being like, oh no, that stopped.
But also, it's not only is it a video game, but then it's like medieval stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a double whammy.
Yeah, it's
if I
like
was playing
basically like
something
I
cool.
walked in on him playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
If you would have walked in on me playing, like, NBA, I would have been just like, oh... I probably wouldn't have had as big of a reaction as just, like, you know... big boobed women in very little clothes slaying dragons and me talking to the TV in my underwear.
Right.
You were not wearing your underwear, thank the Lord.
Yeah, I was naked.
Naked. You're just bottomless.
Bottomless.
You had like a
No.
t-shirt on.
That's how I watch
You
and
wear
play games.
You wear your Bulls jersey, and that's it.
No.
You like the arms free for rotation, and then just bottomless. Let it all just air out.
Oh God, why?
It's so sweaty down there.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Everything about this is terrible.
Yep.
But
Don't tell
anyways,
your family that you're on a podcast. They'll have to listen to this.
never.
Yeah.
Anyways, I came and I sat down next to him. I'm like, "What are we playing?" Like cuddled up to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off." But that was the start of me being like, "No, for real, it's fun."
How long did it take then for you guys to like?
Before I'd actually start playing real video games with her,
Yeah.
wasn't until we moved in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you couldn't. You had no time to yourself, so you had to play it in front of her.
He couldn't hide it
Yeah,
from me
yeah.
anymore.
It was essentially like once we agreed to move in, I couldn't hide. I didn't have as big of a collection of games as I obviously do now, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, clearly, I'm gonna need to play games.
Yeah.
He pulls out this box full of like a Dreamcast and a PlayStation and a this and a that. And
It's a
like,
locked box.
Yeah.
Yep. Still to this day, when I have guests,
he tries to hide it.
I take the cabinet with all my games lined up, or the shelf, and
Yeah.
I put it in the second bedroom, and I like put a blanket over it or something. Depending
It's
on
your
who's
dirty
coming over.
secret.
And it, well, because it's just like
It's
there's so many games.
And it's like if there's like one main thing in the living room, like you're gonna see that if you come
Yeah.
into your apartment.
Like
so.
obviously, like if it's any of my friends, it
It's
doesn't
too
matter.
late.
They already know.
They
It's
already
far
know.
too
Yeah.
But it's just like when one of like my buddies from like work came over, just like to drop something off one time, and I didn't want him to like walk in and just be like, "Oh,
You're
So
one
this
of
is-
those
yeah.
guys.
this is what you do." So
Because
I'm like,
I think anybody that came in to your place would probably comment on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So because I would say outward of my friend circle, I don't like.
Yeah, you don't come off as a video game
I
guy.
don't come off as like super,
Society has beaten it out of you.
yeah.
You don't wear t-shirts that were once black but are now like gray and have like a wolf howling at a moon on it.
No, but there are a lot of pirates.
There are a lot of pirates.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah.
luckily, pirates exist in other realms as well.
Phew.
So people just think I'm a different kind of
Yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah, I just think you're a
Oh, I was
dork.
really big into pirates.
If there's like a Ren fair for pirates,
Would I go? No.
yeah, I know you're not like super into pirates. You're just into that game, but
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I'm surprised that doesn't
exist.
exist.
Because I would totally go to
Yeah,
that.
I'd be terrified.
I'd get so mad. I go to Ren fairs and I get very mad at the inaccuracy.
yeah.
You're a history nerd, though.
Yeah. That's what happens when you major in medieval history.
So you didn't answer the initial question of why you play games.
Okay. 'cause
Yeah,
then-
this is your fault.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Shut your damn mouth.
Well,
She
no,
did
it's
say
okay.
She was gonna sass
Yeah,
me,
I mean,
but
we
that's a
can,
lie.
we can. I think
No.
we should delve into you guys playing more, but we'll go into that when we're talking about what you're playing now, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so why do you play games in general?
I play games in general because they're fun and it seems like a more productive, like, quote unquote productive.
Yeah.
But like when you sit and watch TV, you're just sitting and watch TV. Like you're not really doing anything unless you're me and you're a big nerd and I knit. Because then at least you're not just sitting there. So like with video games, you're like immersed in it and you're doing something and you're learning a new story or coming up with a really terrible life skill that you're not going to use anywhere, but you know how to fit shapes together.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I think driving you can learn from video games.
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
that- yeah,
I will
that's
say that
definitely
I
true.
avoided a car accident when I was 17 because of video games.
Because you were playing a game on your phone.
Yeah. And I somehow avoided the
Yeah.
accident.
You turned when you turned the car in the game, and then it just saved you.
No, I was a stupid kid, and I was gonna race my friends down a neighborhood street, and
God
they
damn
had
it.
Yeah.
they had the ditches
Right.
on the side, and so I was in the lead because I'm the best.
Uh huh.
But I took a turn too wide, and then another car was coming, so I cut the wheel to avoid that car.
And you did the jam your brakes in Tokyo drifting.
No, but then I bottomed out. I went down to the ditch, and I lost control of my car, and we were heading right for a tree, and Dusty was in the car with me, so he can attest to this. And, like, what I imagine most people would do would probably be, like, panic, because they're barreling down
Right.
towards a
Yeah.
tree, but I, like, within enough reaction time was able to, like, regain control of my car and dodge the tree and go in between them and then just bottom out in the ditch again, and then the car broke. But
Yeah, I used to play a lot of like driving arcade games when I was younger. In like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Disney Quest. But,
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So they used to have like the 16 car like stock racers. There was the Daytona 500 game, and then there was like the Formula 1 game. And I would always play with like adult. I was like 9 or 10 then, and I would play with a row of adults, and I was always beat them because I played so much. And so like I figured out how to. I mean, that's how I learned how to drive stick shift was from playing video games.
yeah.
And then when I started driving for real, like 15, 16, I had like
You're
I
like,
knew
"I
exactly
got
what to, that's the
this."
thing. It's like it was the whole like not panicking thing. Like I knew what to do. I had no fear. So if like weird things happened, I like didn't freak out.
Yeah.
So
You think you're so
life
great.
skill.
Like, yeah, video
Yeah,
games.
I did not say I picked up life skills. I said
Yeah.
I picked up useless ones.
I know.
But
I
it's just fun and interesting. I don't know.
So-
it's so much better than books. I think we can
You
all
shut
your
agree
damn
it's
mouth.
better than books.
Books
and
are the
movies.
best.
I think it's everyone has decided. It's
Yeah.
the
No,
whole
no, no.
debate is
Movie. We
over.
watch the video games and movie. It's
Yeah.
better than books. It's better than movies. And
Right.
it's
music.
not.
Video game, the movie, the book is awful.
No, but Phil's video game shelf, I have a bookshelf that's the equivalent. It's like
Books. Like that
9
means
feet-
anything.
Well, it's not 9 feet tall, but it's very big and very wide and absolutely crammed full of books.
Some of those books are mine.
Some of those. That's after
All the
I.
picture books.
That's
Those are
after
mine.
like right before we moved. I went
the
through
strategy
them all.
guides.
All the strategy
I had
guys.
to clear out a lot because I'm like, I guess he's gonna have some too.
Yeah.
And then there's like an overflow bookshelf, and then there's just books on the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm just as bad as him in my own special way.
Yeah, but if somebody comes in and sees a bunch of books, it's not the same stigma as
Yeah.
You know,
Being
you'd
a
be surprised. They
towers.
look at me like, why do you? Who
Well, that's
reads?
we gotta
Yeah.
stop inviting trailer trash over here. If they're just like, who damn book reader?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, here's your squirrel. Just get
You
out.
got some of them fancy coasters.
Yeah. It's a table.
Yeah.
It's a table. It's not made out of beer cans. That's on us.
Ah,
So what's your favorite type of game to play?
puzzle games.
Puzzle games?
Puzzle games.
What kind of puzzle games?
There's a couple different kinds because I like the Tetris and Bejeweled and stuff like that. That's just like I feel like standard puzzle
Super
games.
Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, which
Yeah.
is a terrible name for any game.
Yep.
But then also like I play Professor Layton. That's a puzzle game, but it's like solving brain teasers. And then like I guess the other thing I'm really into is like would it be Sims? Like a sim?
Yeah, simulation.
Because
It's a
I mean,
life. I think it's technically
A
under
life
sim.
sim, but it's still if you're talking about The Sims,
yeah,
that's
but
a sim.
like I bought a Nintendo DS in college so I could play Nintendogs, so
Yeah.
simulated puppies.
Yeah. And you play Civilization Revolution, which
Yeah.
is, I guess, a sim game.
Yeah. So I'd say puzzles, Sims, and then RPGs would be my
Third.
third.
What
Yeah.
RPGs do you play?
Right now I'm playing Bravely Default.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I know I get on his nerves too because I know they're jobs, but I call them outfits. And I'm like, I got the monk outfit.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Technically, that's what it is,
Yeah.
because really you're just
Well, that's also
picking outfits that your characters look cute in and then playing the game.
Well, they don't look cute. They have different attributes. Thank you. But
Who's wrong now?
yeah.
I also went out and bought Final Fantasy X too because like getting different weapons is not interesting to me, but getting a whole new look, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do this. And I actually started replaying that recently because I just made him download a bunch of old games on
Well, that
the
we
PlayStation.
we bought because it was the HD
Yeah.
upgrade for Final Fantasy X and X-2. And since I'm doing my Final Fantasy playthrough, I was like, I'm gonna need to get it eventually.
Yeah.
So
What's your favorite game to watch somebody else play?
I'm really into Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, when we first started I think, actually, I watched you start to play it a little bit at your apartment. But I really
it's possible.
got into it when we moved in together. And, like, I used to just, like, when he was playing a game, kind of just sit on the couch and, like, kick him and read. And I started to, like, get pulled in, and eventually I would just put whatever I was doing aside and be like, yeah, what's happening now? What's going on with those Protheans, huh? So that's
They're
like,
dropping the terminology.
I know, that's good though.
yeah, that's right. So I made him like start a new Mass Effect 1 game so I could get it all from the beginning and I could make my own character and make my own decisions in it. But
Yeah,
he has to do all
He's
the
controlling
driving.
it. You just tell him what to do. Yeah.
I do all the fighting, and then she does all the story, the dialogue.
I think they introduced it in 2, right? Maybe
Three.
3. Oh, where it's like the cinematic only version where you
Yeah.
don't really have to do the fighting. You
Yeah,
just
we
do
have to. I'm playing through 3 as my character. We have to eventually go back and play through 2 as hers,
So I can get my Thana.
so then she can romance Thane.
What kind of do you make the same decisions as him, or do you try to go like renegade?
Here's the problem. The renegade answers always make me laugh, and it's what we're all thinking.
Yeah.
But, like, I have a whole story for my character. Like, I made her
Good.
look like Rashida Jones,
Oh,
first
yeah?
of all. And I'm like, okay, so she's kind of like Rashida. I'm going to be like, she's half black and like Jewish. And like, so she's really not into, she's very much about like social justice and like not discriminating. So she has to be the good shepherd because the regular shepherd is a dick to anyone who isn't a human. So I like want to stay on that.
Is that yours? Or are you just saying in general? Okay.
Yeah. Evil shepherd is a dick.
Yeah,
to
evil
me.
shepherd.
Evil one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never done the renegade choices. I can't do it. Even when I play
I-
through as a different character, for some reason I can't.
I can't. On the first
He plays
first
one-
playthrough is me
Yeah.
controlling shepherd as what choices I would make, which is pretty much always the good. And then the second time I have a woman character, which
Of course.
course.
We all know that femme shepherds are evil.
yeah, and then I made her
Rude.
like super evil. She shoots people when she wants to. No one likes her.
Sometimes I picked a neutral answer.
Yeah.
No.
But for the most part, I have like this whole background story that's like not in the actual game, but in my mind, I'm like, so she doesn't even have patience for that. For example, Ashley from the first game,
Fucking Ashley.
racist bitch.
Yeah.
And like they set up the situation where like you have to choose who goes, and Phil's like, so who do you want to send on the suicide? Ashley.
Yeah.
Send Ashley.
Yeah.
He's like, are you sure? Do you want? No, send her.
Yep.
No one will miss her.
Yeah.
Well, you shut her. I just remember when we were talking to her on the ship, and she started being like, "Hey, are you worried about all these aliens that we're bringing on board?" And like,
Yeah, she was like, do you
There's,
think
like-
it's okay to trust them? They're
Yeah.
there's like
aliens."
you know
Right?
the super nice answer, which is just like, "Oh, you can trust them." Like. Do your job kind of thing, and Caitlin went with the you don't fucking talk to me like that,
Yeah.
and like pretty much shut
I
down.
am your
And then,
captain.
like, for the rest of the game, Ashley wouldn't even say like two
Yeah.
words to her,
Which is
just
great.
like immediately shattered that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Fucking killed that bitch.
So 2 problems with Ashley in Mass Effect 1.
Do we gotta do spoilers?
No,
You-
I'm not. No,
okay.
non-spoilers. The way she looks very bizarre. She doesn't look like a person, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for
And
some
she has a
reason,
weird face.
like the faces are pretty great. Like, especially
way-
at the time.
What does space do to your face in Mass Effect? Because everyone has the worst skin imaginable.
Yeah.
Like, it's like pockmarked and like purple.
Well, I'm sure if you go into different atmospheres and pressures all the time, something's gonna happen.
Just saying, like, space fucks
Science-
up your face.
Yeah.
Science has proven that Neutrogena doesn't work in space.
You heard it here first. Sorry, Neutrogena, if you wanted to advertise on this podcast.
It doesn't work in space.
Anyways, go on. Her face is weird, and she's
So
a
her
horrible
face is weird,
person.
and yeah, and her character is just so unlikable. I don't understand how anybody could really be on her side,
And she's
unless
supposed-
if you.
she's supposed to be the sexy one.
I know
too.
that's the problem too. Is at the start of the game, you really have no other romance choices, and Mass Effect 1, you don't have that many choices anyways.
Yeah.
So
have-
you kind of
have
have
two-
to
you
go
have
for
two,
it.
and male or female.
Right.
One's the
Liara.
Asari,
Yeah.
and then one's either Ashley or Caden.
The problem with the Asaria is, like I said, it doesn't come along for so long that if you've already started talking to Ashley romantically, then it's like you're kind of in it
Yeah.
already.
The flirting in that game is hilarious. It's
Yeah.
like embarrassing. I started to romance Kate, and I was like, I can't have these conversations anymore.
What's crazy
Can't take
though
you
is because,
seriously.
like, when I think of writing in video games, I think like the Mass Effect series, for the most part,
It's really good. It's
is
just,
really good. But somehow everyone that wrote the romance option
Is so off.
has never had a real conversation
Right.
with an opposite sex. Even when it's like dude on dude, if you know,
Right.
like they still like.
It's-
I can't fathom how you flirt. Do you just stab at the breasts?
Right, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like the lines are bad, and the delivery I think is really bad too. At least
Yeah.
for the male shepherd, everything he says, it's like he's laughing at the line as he's saying it,
Yeah.
so you really don't believe it
But
because it just switches in tones so much.
yeah, you go from like, you know, almost losing your life to just being like, would you like to go back to my cabin?
Yeah, and yeah, just he tries to get all like charming, and it's
Yeah.
just hilarious because like, oh, I
I
didn't
like
know
the-
you cared so much and stuff like
You
that.
drop and give me 20.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
I
come
like
on.
the idea that the savior of the universe has no game. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, he
He spent all this time saving the universe. He
Yeah.
doesn't know how to interact with people.
Oh, do you not need saving? Because otherwise I just don't know how to talk
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
I can save you, and then if you're grateful, maybe, but I'm
Okay,
not gonna be able to work.
this
it out.
isn't really a spoiler, but you've essentially played through the 3 games. You're still working through the 3rd one.
Yeah.
What are the romantic decisions you've made throughout the 3 games?
For my character,
Yeah.
the first game was Liara, the second game was Tali, and then the third game is Liara again. Bring her back in.
Yeah.
Hooking up with his ex.
Because, and I think part of that is, and this is a spoiler, but it literally happens like the second mission.
Yeah.
So we don't need to do a spoiler warning for it. Is that Liara you get in the third game, like right after the tutorial.
Right.
So then if you've ever romanced her in a previous game, like she brings it up right away. So you essentially have to make your choice then and there. It's just like you don't know who you're going to get in the third game.
And if you're going to like him.
Or if you're going to like them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you want to bang with me again, or do you want to take your chances out in the world?
I think she's phrased it just a little more delicately than that.
It was pretty much the same
It was
thing.
pretty desperate, though. She was like, I heard you got close to so-and-so, so I guess I'm not in the picture anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible to say no to that.
I know.
She's not here, and you are, and you look so sad, so yeah, let's make this happen again.
I can't remember my evil character.
Your evil character, I don't know who you did for the first game, but for the second one, you had no interest in romancing anyone. So I think it was Caden, because at the end of the game, she like looks sadly at a picture.
Oh
of
yeah,
him.
I think evil was Caden, and then nothing in the second game.
How about you, Caitlin?
Like I said, I started to go with Caden, but he was fucking embarrassing to talk to. Like, he's just lame.
Yeah.
So I switched to Liara. I'm like, you're slightly better to talk to. So that was fine.
Did we romance Liara for you?
Yeah, we did.
You did? Okay.
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
Shared
it was
something special.
woman-on-woman action.
Space boobs. For the second game, I don't know if I might have mentioned it once or twice that Thane is my man.
Yeah.
I want to be all up on him. I mean, I love you, dear. You're pretty great.
It's fine.
too.
I'd be all up on a green, smoking voiced alien.
Yeah, he's basically
Who's an
like some
assassin.
sort of like salamander slash
No,
fish
I looked it
creature.
up though, but like they really wanted to make him sexy, like the character designer. So they asked a lot of women like what they were into, and basically tried to make like Jude Law the alien.
I can sort of see that. Yeah. And his name is Thane. That's like
Yeah.
a sexy name.
And
Yeah.
he's like a noble assassin.
Right. He's
But
wearing
got
black
some-
leather.
And he's got some pain. And he's got his shirt all open, but he's
Yeah.
a lizard man, so no chest hair.
Yeah. Double win.
I'm upset that they didn't just open the floodgates and you could romance anybody in the second one. Like, what if I wanted to romance a Krogan?
Can.
You can't
Oh,
romance
not Krogan. Because Krogan have their own storyline that's tied into, like, you know,
Yeah,
That's
like,
one
reproducing.
thing that bothered me. We're playing through 3 right now. We're just getting around to see Krogan ladies. We're just getting around to seeing Solarian ladies. And what's the one that Garrus? Turian ladies.
Yeah.
It took 3 games for them
3
to,
games to be
yeah.
like,
put
oh
women
yeah, women.
It kind of made sense for the Krogans.
Yeah, that one I was like, okay, I can see that.
But the other ones, yeah, it didn't make sense.
Yeah. So I got really excited. I wanted to see what their designs were and stuff. I think the Krogan lady, she had a cool design. She's not wearing like the armor. She's got this like ceremonial stuff on. I was like, yeah, I wish we could have seen more of this.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So yeah, Thane. I don't know. Maybe for
Thane, he's going to go after for the third one, too.
I don't know. I've seen where he is in the third one. I don't know if you can pursue him still. But, I mean, like, if things get real rough, I guess I could go for Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
I guess.
His voice, I know he is technically Hispanic, but his voice does not match that character at all.
No.
And anytime he says something in Spanish, it doesn't sound correct.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
It's fine. Can you romance Cortez, the pilot guy, in the third one?
Maybe if you are.
It's for Boy Shepherd, right?
Maybe if
Because
you're.
he mentioned having a husband. So
Yeah.
I don't think so because of his past.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just saying, if I played as Boy Shepherd, I'd be all over that. He's adorable. That's like the other thing I get into these games. I'm like, the biggest plot points for me are the romances, even though I get like irrationally angry at them, like the terrible like flirting and stuff. It's still like so much more important to me than yeah, we can save the world, but first I need to decide which of these ladies I need to hook up with.
Yeah, it's like this mission's almost over. Finally, we can get back to the ship and we can just talk about this stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Are you done shooting people yet? Because I think you need to go talk to Liara some more. Hold hands with her.
How do you decide who is in your little group when you go on missions? Is it whoever your romantic entanglement is, or is it just based on skills?
I let him pick.
Yeah.
Because like as long as they can't get killed for real, so I'm like, yeah, take who you want.
Yeah. Mine's more if I just pick. I usually pick like the same 2 people.
Who?
Honestly,
Garrus
right-
is your space bud.
Right now, me and Garrus are
Garrus was great in the second game. I will say that. I
Yeah.
I used him for almost every mission in Mass Effect 2.
right now, third game. In Mass Effect 1 and 2, it was whatever Krogan was always. It was Rex and Grunt were always my party. For 3 right now, it's the Prothean from the DLC, and usually Garrus. Sometimes I'll switch out and I'll put Liara in or Edie, but those are like really rare.
Liara's pretty good, especially in 3 when you can do this sort of combining of powers.
Yeah, you can lift with her and then hit everything in the
Right,
sky.
you do like bionic explosions. I don't know what your character is, what class it is, but that's what I did because you just chain enemies back and forth. And then there was one of the perks where if you get a bionic explosion, it resets all your powers, so you could basically just
keep going over and over again.
Spam stuff. Well, the people I romance, thanks for asking, guys. In the first game,
me.
I know. In the first game, I did Ashley until Liara showed up, and then I switched over to Liara.
Yeah. Liara's the better choice.
Right.
Just, no matter who you're playing as.
In the second game, it was Miranda, the first playthrough, because she was like a new character.
Yeah.
I think I did
And she was the sexy one.
She was supposed to be the sexy one, yeah.
She's alright.
Every camera started at her butt and then went to the
And
And her
Work
whole
her way
storyline
around.
is how she's the perfect woman
Yeah.
created in a lab,
If she was perfect, why is she Australian?
right?
Oh!
Take that. Yeah, so the second game is Miranda and then Jack on my second attempt. And then I think Trainer in there just to see if I could do it. One of the... Who's like your assistant or something?
Oh.
Kelly Chambers.
She was all about...
Kelly Chambers.
Or
is
maybe
an
that was the
easy
third game
bang.
then.
Trainer's the third game.
Trainer's the third one then.
Kelly's the one who was like, if you need anything, I'll be
Oh,
right
yeah.
here. It's like, ugh.
And
Dial
then,
it back, Kelly.
right, and then the third one I did Liara and I think Jack again, and then Miranda just for a second because I wanted to see
Just
how.
for a second.
Well, the thing
She
is,
came on the ship, I banged her, and then she got off.
I don't know how far you've gotten in it, but Miranda's not really in the third game at all.
No, we've
So-
already seen her.
To get that relationship thing, it's like you have to go to the Citadel at this certain point and talk to her by the thing to trigger it, and that's the only way. Then you get a little bit more for storyline, but that's the only way is if you've already had a relationship with her.
Yeah.
So, because and because it's so small, it takes like then 3 seconds to seduce her, basically.
Do you want to... Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing
You wanna? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're banging.
I was going to say something.
That's
I
good.
really like Jack's new design in the third one.
No, I don't at all. I liked her in the second game.
She
She was
looks
pretty
cool
cool.
in the second one, but like I don't know. I guess I like how it shows growth. Like she has hair and she's like way less crazy. She
Yeah.
doesn't feel the need to wear a belt over her nips.
Yeah.
She's like, I guess I could wear a real shirt since I'm around children.
So
now.
yeah, since my job is being the teacher now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked how they like matured
If she
her
survives.
Up. If she survived.
Alright, well that was good Mass Effect corner.
Yeah.
yeah.
We could
But
do
I
that
mean,
all
we're talking
day.
about like relationships and games and things
Yeah.
like that. Is there any other games that the relationship is the most important part to you that sticks out?
Perhaps
Portal?
It's on a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Japanese dating sims. Yeah, that's all about the relationship. Like games where there's other focus, but like any sort of like RPG or whatever where you can pick who you're gonna romance. I remember playing 7 and being like, who's it gonna be? Yeah, I like when you have a selection and you can like pick who's right for you and not just like a generic like we love each other now. Let's save the world together.
Yeah, you got the dud.
Poindexter.
So how has your guys' playing games relationship changed as your actual relationship has? Like, what have you played different games? Do you play a different style? Like, you guys,
We play a lot of Lego games together because that's about my speed.
yeah,
Go forward, jump, punch.
right? There's no 3 dimensions really.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I really love the Lego games, and that's one that we can play together. Like, he doesn't get mad if I can't figure something out because it's just like...
You make it sound like I'm such a task.
No, you're not. You're not.
Like, oh, if I
Well,
try and play a game with Phil, he gets so pissed off.
You
early.
don't, but I feel like terrible because I'm like, I can't jump on this rock. You have to do it for me. And I know, like, that's got to be frustrating.
It does it, and then I just take control and I jump on the rock for you and I hand it back.
yeah.
You are making me sound like...
No,
You're a better
evil.
person than I am because I would have been like, really?
It's-
Really? I have to do this for you?
It's the person that has the insecurities about playing. It feels like the other person can get frustrated at them if they mess up, even if
yeah.
you never exhibit that.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to play a game you're not good at if you're playing with somebody that's really good because you assume that they want the best people all the time, which
No,
isn't
no,
always the
I
case.
mean, I understand that.
You're very nice to me.
Like, I understand where our limitations in games are, and I guess now just the longer we've been together, just the more understanding of what that is. I know that I'm not going to be able to, like, get her to pick up and play, Call of Duty.
We're not going to be able to
Right.
boost together.
We're not gonna be able to do, like, some quick Gears of War, multiplayer.
That being said, sometimes I still help you out with games I'm not very good at. If you need like two people for an achievement, you pull me in, and I'm like, I'll help you out with this, but only this.
But it'll
just basically stand there and don't fall off the cliff.
Yeah, but like the Lego games we play together, that's easy because
we played some Connect games together.
We've played a lot of Connect games together.
Like Lead Me's was fun.
We played Lead Me's. We did Elo Milo, which we talked about. We've played other games.
Yeah, I'm just not thinking of them right now.
Oh, like arcade games. I mean, like it's really arcade games and Lego games and Kinect games. It's our big ones.
Yeah.
That's actual co-op. I mean, obviously, like we play Mass Effect together. When I start, BioShock and Batman, I imagine Caitlin will be there to play those with me in spirit.
Is there any hardcore game that you would want to try for yourself?
I actually tried playing Mass Effect 3 the other day on the story mode, but I was homesick, so then I was just like, no, sleeping is more important.
You got your priorities way out of whack.
I know, I'm talking to the wrong guys.
Yeah.
No, not really, because I know whatever I want to, like, see, he'll play.
Yeah.
And, like, the ones that I really like are, like, if I want to see a particular RPG or whatever, that's one that I can do. So, like, the really challenging ones he's usually interested in, and the ones that aren't so challenging, I'm like, yeah, I can handle doing that, so.
I think the most extreme or hardcore game that you're playing would probably be the Xbox RPG, that Lost Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like 4 discs of RPG, and it's actually a relatively tough one. But you play for... I would say, like, we split controller time, like 50-50. She'll usually play to start off, and then when, she gets to a boss or a fight that she can't beat, then hand it to me, or even if we're just, like, leveling up.
Yeah, whenever there's, like, trees, I'm like, ugh, no, you're doing this.
Trees.
You mean skill trees?
Yeah.
When you just say trees, I naturally...
in the forest.
Just like,
we're
there's
talking
trees
about
outside.
video games.
Yeah, I know. But you do actually have to be more specific, because I thought you meant trees as well.
Really?
There's normal trees.
Yeah.
She was trying to throw in, like, shorthand lingo.
Yeah.
But it just didn't connect. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your fault, but it's not your fault.
Shut up, everyone.
Yeah.
So you don't like picking, like, attributes and skills and stuff? You don't really care what your character can do or not do?
I care, but I'm afraid I'll make the wrong decision, especially if, like, we're playing it together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really bad at these bosses. You're going to have to know what's good for beating bosses. So that's when I hand it over. Like, I've played games in the past where you have to pick out abilities, and I've done it. But if I can make him do it, I will.
Yeah. Less pressure.
I think it all depends on the game. Like Lost Odyssey is really just a lot of inventory management. You have to wear... I mean, the quick synopsis is you have to wear certain gear, and that will teach you new skills. So essentially, you just want everyone to learn every skill. So you just have to cycle it in and out. So there's just a lot of menu screens to work through that just be... It's a lot quicker for me to do, and it still serves the same purpose.
Yeah.
But, like, Bravely Default, I mean, she levels up and picks all her stuff
I'm a real
herself.
nerd about.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy X-2, you're the same way. Like, you know what you're doing in that. So I don't have to do any leveling up. So.
For Mass Effect, do you set it to auto upgrade, or do you just have him do it?
I just have him do it.
Yeah.
Since I'm doing all the combat anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know what he wants.
Essentially, it's all combat skills, except for in the first and second game there was Charm, but that is...
Right.
Charm.
It's gone now. Yeah, they get less and less every game.
Yep.
Options you can do. Do you pick different character classes when you play through a different time?
Yeah, I did. I think... I can't remember what they're called. I think when I played through as Evil, I was just Soldier, so I could just use all the weapons.
Yeah.
And I think my good person's like the mix like Vanguard or something like that, where it's just like has biotic powers but can also use like an assault rifle or whatever the combos were.
Yeah,
Vanguard
it was stupid in the first game how limited it was. Because it's like, oh, you wanted to use powers, good. You can just use a pistol the whole game.
Yeah,
well, that's kind of frustrating.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like obviously,
wait, but do you get to like run out of bullets and throw your gun at them?
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
And then you always have to find new guns.
God damn,
Yeah.
why did
Yeah.
I
Go back
throw
and
this?
get the
Yeah.
Bessie, I need you back.
Put it on a string.
Their gun, Bessie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point.
Right.
So we covered what you're currently playing.
Yeah, I'm also playing. It's not a fan favorite. Well, it probably is. I keep making them. I'm playing Harvest Moon. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Farming Sims. Yo.
Yeah. No Bayonetta 2, though.
Okay, don't get me started on Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Do not.
So, what is the typical situation when he's playing a game that you're either not playing with him or that you're not watching as entertainment? Like, what do you do?
Read or.
You
fart
just
around
sit
on
there
my
next to him
computer.
and just
Yeah.
read or knit or
I still like
mess
being
around.
with them.
Yeah. As long as you guys aren't talking or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, we'll talk to each other too. Like I'll still comment on it. I still have smart stuff to say about it.
Yeah, you still got your wisecracks.
Wisecracking left to right. But like if it's not that interesting to me, I still want to hang out with them. So I'll be in the same room. I won't be like, I'm going to the mall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really just depends too. When I'm playing basketball,
I'm
like,
out.
Yeah.
there's 0% chance that she's following it. So she'll be on her laptop or she'll be playing on her DS or.
That's not true. Sometimes I hear player names and I get confused. Like, I didn't think he was it. Oh, wait, it's not real basketball. He's
Yeah, you
moving
switched
people
around teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I switch teams around. Or like Grand Theft Auto right now that I'm playing is you just comment on how stupid it is, which is fine. It's true.
But she's super into Saints Row, I'm assuming.
I do like how your guy doesn't wear pants. I'm
Yeah.
really into that.
And is really
Have you survived
the
the
boat explosion? Yeah, and his hair and his
Yeah.
green
He's
mustache.
wearing a jersey, so it's also like a crop top
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
Every time your guy comes on screen, I'm like, yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you won the character creator.
Nice.
Your audience has no idea what I'm talking about, but
No, I think we described our characters, the first time, right? The first time we talked about playing Saints
might
Row
have.
2.
I don't
Yeah.
think you did actually. I could be wrong.
You don't really listen, so...
I listen.
She does. She's
when it
like,
comes
All right.
out.
So, new segment then.
Yeah.
Prove that you listen to the podcast. We're going to throw out some trivia,
Chris just
Yeah.
happens to have a bunch of notes written
right? In episode 7.
down. What was the third sentence we said?
Right. After saying, what did Phil say?
Probably something about balls. You guys are real dirty.
You
Real
guys!
dirty. Both of you.
Okay.
Just swallow your balls.
Swallow your balls. That was Phil.
This is my.
I just repeated it because it was so ridiculous.
just say things that come to my mind.
I know. I see a whole different side of you when you're in this locker room.
You don't
Well,
see it.
I
You
hear it.
To be fair, we're usually pretty drunk. This is the second time we have not been drunk while recording a podcast.
And it's not the same, is it?
No.
There's not the same magic.
I mean, you're as drunk as I've ever seen you.
yeah.
but-
This isn't water. This is straight
No,
vodka.
we have to keep taking breaks so you can go smoke outside.
Those e-cigarettes aren't going to smoke themselves.
Yep. I like how you're gonna do e-cigarettes outside.
Outside. It's the experience of standing in the cold that she
Yeah.
enjoys.
Unwanted by
Yeah.
everyone. Got any other questions for me?
That's our three main.
Yeah.
Those were our three main ones.
Oh, one time Chris bought me, or not Chris, you're Chris.
My name's Chris.
Phil,
I'm Phil.
my darling husband, bought me Pokemon for Christmas, and one time he got me a Gigapet. These were both highly
nice.
acceptable presents.
How'd you get a Gigapet? Do they still make them or do you have to go online?
I ordered online.
Yeah.
I think I went to Amazon.
It was great.
And
And
I
one of
just
my
found the
coworkers
cheapest
caught me like feeding it at work in the professional office environment where I work. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I mean, I got a Gigapet for Christmas. It was great. Go away."
Well, I know the first generation ones, you couldn't turn the sound down. So it was always like the little...
No, this one, there's a mute function.
That's
And you
good.
can even pause it. Like, if you're like,
Oh,
I can't
okay.
deal with this.
That's like cheating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
totally cheating.
It really is. I went through like 5 generations before the battery died, which is like a giant battery now. It's not the little watch battery.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a huge thing.
Can you like replace it?
Yeah.
We can replace it. I realize that when I get gifts for Caitlin, I don't like to get any serious
He
gifts.
doesn't get me anything that's like
I
a real present.
only get fun gifts.
How do you
even
feel
though
about that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I know, and she probably wouldn't want me getting her any clothes or jewelry or anything like
absolutely.
that,
I don't
or
trust him.
perfume
No,
or
right.
stuff like that.
You can't dress yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Every year for Christmas, I get him clothes that I wish he would wear, and
Yeah.
I hope he puts them
I think that's
on.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, like, I can't get her any of that stuff, so it's like, okay, I can get her books, but most of the time that, even then, like, I don't know, unless she's really talking about a book, which has been rare that she hasn't immediately
Like,
gotten
if
it
it's
or
by,
read
like,
it at the library.
Tina Fey or Amy Poehler, I'll read it.
Yeah, so then it's just like, okay, I have to get her fun things, so it's like Venture Brothers DVDs, or video games, or, you know,
Coloring books.
goofy
I
things.
would
Like,
be into that.
Yeah.
you know, I got her, like, the Adventure Time, essentially, like,
The
encyclopedia.
book
Okay,
about
yeah.
the world, the
It's
book
like
of Ooh.
Book of Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know, I got her... I mean, even games that she doesn't
You get
necessarily
me
play.
my Lego presents too.
I get her, Lego kits to
We're
build.
children.
Right.
Yeah.
We're overgrown children.
So, what do you think of the Adventure Time games that have come out so far?
We've played Let's Explore This Dungeon because I don't know. And I like it. It's a little repetitive.
Yeah.
Very repetitive.
But, like, I have a lot of fun with it. It's like all of Adventure Time. It's very goofy, and you're like, what's happening? I love it. And I play as Marceline, and she's the best because she just floats over everything. Like, bottomless pits mean nothing to her.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
I think like that's a property that could have really great games, but so far none have existed. Like they come out with games all the time, but they're basically just clones of other games, really.
Yeah.
So Phil and I were talking once. I think it got cut out of the podcast, but we were talking about how there should be a Lego Adventure Time game.
I would play that so hard.
If it-
I would never stop
You
playing.
already have a cast of characters that's insanely deep that you could make, since Lego's now just one-upping itself on how many
How many
characters you can
characters?
put in.
Yeah.
If I could play as Peppermint Butler for anything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know he'd be like metal too, summoning demons and stuff.
Yeah. Pepper Butler, what about James Baxter?
James. Baxter.
It's the horse that's on
Right,
the ball.
Yeah, because it's great because there's so many characters. They all have sort of their defined probably like traits that you could do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, like I think all of those characters would look awesome as Legos.
Yeah.
Plus the whole idea of just having little worlds, little maps.
Yeah, like Candy
It's-
Kingdom and
Right.
all that.
Yeah,
They
like
already
Ice
have
Kingdom
that.
and like the Netherrealm, whatever it's called. Nightosphere.
Nightosphere,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can even think in the terms of, like, other Lego games, like, Jake could just be a substitute for Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Where it's just, like, all they have to do is they can still use the same pedestal, they just change, like, the 4 on it to a picture of his face or
Yeah.
whatever. Then he could go and transfer into whatever is needed. And
Turn
it-
into a giant
Right.
screwdriver or
Yeah.
whatever.
And Flame
Yeah.
Princess could be Human Torch.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Flame
By
Princess,
the way,
Human Torch,
that's
and-
all I play as in Lego Marvel. It feels like you want to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good.
Because it's Chris Evans or...
It was initially because it's Chris Evans, but then he's great. He can fly.
Right.
He's on fire all the time. He shoots his little fireballs, and he's laser proof because he's on fire.
Yeah, we beat
That's just science.
we beat Lego Marvel, and while it was amazing
Yeah.
and very enjoyable, my complaint is there's too many characters.
My complaint is that the lady characters that they make you play as the most are lame. There's cool ones, but you get stuck with like
Black Widow.
Jean Grey and
Oh,
Black
okay.
Widow, who just pulls out really big guns and
Right.
can turn invisible.
And then do the sexy walk.
Yeah, why are you walking sexy? You
Yeah.
are literally rectangular.
Yep.
There's no reason for you to put a little wiggle in it.
Phil's into it.
I was.
Hey.
But like you start off, you get like Iron Man's the best character in the game.
Yeah.
And it's the first character you get.
Yeah.
So when you're doing like free play, you're like
So
Iron
Iron
Man
Man
can-
and somebody else.
Iron Man can fly, he can destroy silver objects
And gold objects.
and gold objects.
Oh, wow.
Because he he is different suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
But,
like
like, there's a
5 different Iron Man.
But there's a suit
Like
where
Batman.
essentially, where he can like shoot laser beams and he can fly and he can do this. So like the only thing he can't do is like, okay, we need Iron Man and then we need,
a
Magneto.
psychic or something.
Yeah.
And then just like,
I will say that you select them using their little heads. Iron Man has a suit that's Tony Stark in his underwear, but he's still wearing his Iron Man mask.
That's
so
pretty
you
great.
accidentally click that, and then you think you can fly, and it's just Tony Stark in underwear.
That's
and you're
pretty
like,
great.
what is this?
Yeah.
Why did they give this to me?
but like they go so deep and they have so many cool characters that I wish we experimented with
Yeah.
more.
And there's
Because-
some that like don't appear in the story at all. You just pick them up like on the streets.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
And
the problem with so many characters too, is because there's only so many like puzzles they can put in there, like different abilities. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's like 5 different abilities, and then they just scatter those across everybody.
Which I'm fine with, but at the same time, like, you'd get a character and you're like, ooh, I really want to use whatever Colossus,
right?
which is just a big guy who can punch stuff. But like,
It's like the thing is better. So,
But that's the thing, is like the placement on the board of when you're selecting it is just
So
like
far
I'm,
down.
I'm gonna come across Hulk and I'm gonna come across Thing.
Yeah.
Well before I'm gonna come across Colossus.
Yeah.
So it's like, at that point, like, I can switch to Colossus just to do this one scene where I'm gonna punch a guy, but it's like, it's pointless, like, to just scroll all the way down to pick one character and just be like, yep, did it, and now I gotta switch
Yeah.
back to
And then
Iron Man.
some characters didn't do what I thought they would. Like, I don't know a ton about Ghost Rider, but I do know his head is on fire, so I assumed he'd have some sort of fire situation.
yeah, he can pee fire according to the second movie.
Well, I think that was actually
science.
just Nick Cage.
yeah, yeah, that just happened on
Yeah.
set.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I assumed he'd have some sort of flame powers because of that. Now he has his chains, and then that's it. That's all he's got.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. Is Bruce Banner and the Hulk 2 different characters, or can you switch, like make them morph?
So you can morph. Like, all of the big characters except for, well, like, a couple of them can't morph, but
Like the thing.
yeah, like, you can be Bruce Banner, and there's an ability which is just like brains,
Science.
which is to use computers.
Yeah.
So when you're Bruce Banner, you can use computers, but obviously you can't fight, or you just hold down the Y
can
button.
punch.
Because that's a special skill nowadays.
Yeah. Or you just hold down the Y button and then he hulks out and he turns into Super Hulk. And then he can't use brain things, but he can.
Hulk
bash
can't
everything.
even-
Can't use
Build.
brain things.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Hulk-
can't build anything?
He can't even build.
That's kind of cool, though.
None of the big guys can, which is mean to Thing. He's got a functioning brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his hands are too big.
pretty much.
His fat hands are too big for the
Yeah.
telephone.
Smash your palm on the dial now.
order a special
dialing
dialing
wand.
And you get Stan Lee as the very, very last character.
Does he do anything?
And
Yes,
Stan Lee can
it's
turn into
awesome.
Stan Hulk.
Oh.
Which he can rage out and he's Hulk, but he's Hulk with his gray hair
And the
glasses
mustache.
and mustache.
Also, when he's not Stan Hulk, he has Spider-Man powers.
Yep.
He always his spider sense is always tingling.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like his little aiming icon, like for the Fantastic Four, they have their logo and everything. His aiming icon is like a pair of glasses and a
Nice.
mustache.
Yeah.
Pretty
But
great.
it's like, man, I'd like to use Stan Lee, but at that point, you've already 100% of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Unless you're going to start all over, and if you start all over, then you
Don't get him.
don't get them. So
Yeah.
it's like, I guess I can free play these levels again with nothing to unlock.
yeah.
The thing is, like, the LEGO games, they force you to do so much replayability, but at the same time, there's no fun to go back and do anything
If
once
you
you've
can't
beaten it.
unlock anything, or,
Yeah.
because it's fun to be like, we can finally get that one thing, but then
Yeah.
once you get that, it's
But
like,
yeah, like, the levels themselves are so uninspiring that I wouldn't just, like, even if, like, 6 years down the road or whatever, and hypothetically we have a kid, right?
Right.
And so you're just like,
Chester McChesters.
yeah, and you're just like, oh, let's play Lego Marvel. And it'd just be like, we can go through levels and you can be any character you want.
It's like defeats the purpose of them
Yeah.
playing the game.
Just like, it's so boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only time it'll work is like, oh, if I have a couple friends coming over and we want to play for half an hour, I want to have all the characters unlocked. But it's like
Yeah.
that, like occurrence is so rare, it's not worth doing all that extra work.
And still doesn't beat Lego Indiana Jones.
That's the best one.
Yep.
Just the best.
Lego Indiana Jones with the right amount of people. It was probably only like 30 characters, but they had like 6 powers divided by the 30 characters. So, like, you know, when you did a cycle through, you were going to get
I think
different ones.
Everybody had something too.
Yeah.
Like, because in the
Well,
new
no,
one,
yeah, but everyone had something. But,
But, like, in the
all
new
the girls
ones-
had the double jump.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when you play like Lego Harry Potter, you have like Muggle Child A.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that one doesn't. It has no ability whatsoever. Like, even if there was a special thing that only Muggles could do, that'd be great. But there's not.
Yeah.
They didn't work that in at all. So they gave you like a completely useless, just placeholder who can maybe punch things.
Yeah, well, they're going now based on, like, the number of characters so they can put that on the back of the box.
Yeah.
Be like, 250 playable characters, 2 million playable characters. So
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, you're gonna put Muggle children in there, and you know no one's ever gonna select it. No one's gonna be like Muggle child, my favorite.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Lego Indiana Jones too, is that it was before they did voices for the cutscenes, but it still was really good. Like it hit the sweet spot of like just the right amount of jokes. Like
Yeah.
you had to have sort of seen the movies to sort of get everything that was happening, but the jokes that were in there were funny.
Yeah.
What Lego Indiana Jones did though is after we played that game, we
We're
wanted
like, we
to
have
go
to watch
back and
all
watch
these
the
movies.
movies. Like that's how good it works. Is because like yeah, it's the same movies like you said, but it's different to the point where you're just like, oh yeah, I remember that part. We should watch the real thing, as opposed to like, you know, now like just playing the demo of Lord of the Rings, where it's literally just like the exact word for word battle of the fight, and you're just like, well.
Now I don't need to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad they got the voices, but literally, like, you have the exact word for word.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they just took the audio
Oh,
from
Yeah.
the
they
movie.
most certainly did.
I think it's because if they didn't, people would freak out. Just because their fan base behind that is so rabid that
Yeah, you can't get too silly with Lord of the Rings. People would be like, no, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
not how Legolas would shoot his arrows.
Well, there has been some backlash about Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
Even though they said it's not Lord of the Rings game, even though it's in the universe, people are like, "Well, this doesn't line up time wise, and this guy shouldn't have this power. This person hadn't met this guy yet."
Get over it, nerds.
Internets.
That's the problem. Like,
I feel like
if you're
Lord of the
passionate,
Rings fans are extra
well, the thing, like, you can be passionate about something, but just
tenacious.
freaking whatever it is, just hold it deep down, and then go like, "Oh, I should meet a girl."
Yeah.
Like, they could go back and, like, redo Monkey Island, and I might be a passionate nerd, but at the same time, it's going to be like, okay, they redid it, they changed things.
Yeah.
Probably for the better. They made it a first-person shooter. I won't get it, but
Yeah. You probably would get it.
Someone will.
they
will
were
play
working
it.
on a... Yeah, I won't go into it.
No, it's okay.
I
Go
was going
for
to say, like, there was
Yeah.
I want to say it was, like, Far Cry. There was a Far Cry mod, and they did... somebody was developing the
it. It makes sense to do it.
Monkey
off Far
Island
Cry.
mod. It was like your gun was like a chicken with a pulley in the middle of it from the game, and it just shoots chickens or something like that. It never got finished,
Yeah.
but I just remember seeing it online, like Monkey Island shooter mod.
And you're like, those are my people.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
but at the same time, just like the fun is the jokes, and if your only joke is that he's gonna shoot a chicken,
Yeah.
not gonna work.
That's hilarious. It would never get old. Never.
Well, it might.
So, Caitlin, what's your ideal game? If you could just create a game, what would it be?
I'd want it to be something that's pretty story heavy, but like not
A lot of puzzles, though.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I guess I know like Tomb Raider. I haven't actually played any Tomb Raider games, but I know they're like basically puzzle games, even though you run around and shoot things. So I'd have it where like you get to walk around and explore, but it'd be puzzles, and there'd be an actual story, not just like, hey, you need to get through this door by doing some math homework.
You were describing an adventure game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I've played some of those.
Yeah. I gotta make you play more adventure games.
That's
Or
fine.
at least watch you play
Do I get to
adventure
romance
games.
anybody?
Some of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
But some of them you don't get choices. Like you
No,
have
it's
I'm
just
out.
there's the character, right?
there's
and it
just the
happens.
character and you have to romance them and the puzzle is to romance them.
That's fine. That's cool too.
But yeah, it's not like you can just be like, that person's ugly, I'm not gonna romance them. Like you have to do that
That's
to progress
I
the
mean,
story.
I guess that's acceptable.
Yeah.
That's fine. Or we touched on this. I don't know if we were recording at the time. I'm really into playing these dumb dating sims on my game. I want one where I get to be meaner to the guys.
Like, just in general, like, even if they're your boyfriend, or so you can reject them in a mean way.
I'd A, like to reject them, and B, I'd like to be mean to them as my boyfriend, because
Yeah.
the choices are all very, like, you're a love-struck girl, and you
Yeah.
don't want to ever say the wrong thing in case he leaves you
Well,
forever.
that's good teaching for girls, how
Yeah.
to react.
Yeah, I want to tell a guy to jump back up his mother if he's rude to me, and they don't really give you that option. You have to be like, oh, okay, or...
Well, aren't they Japanese, you said? So
Yeah.
that's probably why.
Yeah, that's
I don't
probably-
think that's an option.
Yeah.
Jump up your mother.
But, like,
That's
Okay,
the John Travolta dating sim.
Yeah.
I also played.
Yes.
I was playing the Kim Kardashian Hollywood game for a while, and like you can date people in that, and you can reject them, but like
After you make a sex tape.
after you make a sex tape.
Well, then
No.
why have a relationship?
Like when you go on dates with them, you have to be wearing the right outfit. It gives you like a bonus on your date. And if you're not wearing the right outfit, it's not just that they don't give you the bonus. They say some really shitty things to you. Like, well, I made the effort, but clearly you didn't. I want to be able to tell that guy.
It would be like the other way around, I think, in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
It's the guy that has to wear the right clothes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just everyone says the same thing. I happen to be playing a girl who's into
Okay.
guys, but you can play as a guy and you can choose which side you're into. So you could be a girl dating a girl and she'd still say that stuff to you.
Yeah.
And like your choices are you can continue the date, you can come back later, or you can break up, but like nothing, there's no consequence to breaking up. I want to see that man cry.
Yeah.
I want to bring him to his knees.
And you want him to show up later when you're on a date with somebody else.
Yeah, and I want him to be like begging me to
Yeah.
take him back. I just want to be meaner because I feel like they get to be mean to me. I need to give that back a little bit.
I can't see you ever being mean in any.
Maybe that's why she wants the,
The
cut
option.
Yeah.
I'm mean to you all the time.
You're mean to me, which is weird that we got married, but at the same time, like in video games, I just I feel like you always take the
High
high-
road.
we
the high
just
road.
talked about how I bitched Ashley out. If someone is like
That's because she was threatening your female dominance.
yeah. No, but I'm saying if someone's a dick to me, I'm going to be a dick back.
Okay.
That's what I want. I want some sort of romantic simulation where the options aren't just take it or walk away. I want an option that
There's got to be a better way to say that.
Yeah. You can either take it,
accept
be submissive.
Yeah.
accept their abuse. Is that worse?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I just want to be able to be like, no, let me tell you about yourself.
I don't think I've ever actually watched you play dating games. What are the actual like
Mechanics
yeah,
of the game.
Do you just choose dialogue, or is it like actual puzzles or?
Oh, you just choose dialogue. And like,
Clothes, apparently.
no,
Oh, really?
That's just Kim Kardashian.
just
Oh,
Kim
okay.
Kardashian, which was pretty great. You can wear some wacky stuff in Kim Kardashian. I had pink hair and like a sleeve tattoo of like a pinup lady, and I was like, yeah, this is the ideal version of Caitlyn. I want this.
Yeah. You can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could dye your hair and get a tattoo sleeve.
Yeah. I
Shave
would.
part of your head. Yeah.
Skrillex hair?
Yep.
No lie, I think that looks kind of cute. Like when girls have just like the one side shaved.
Well,
I
what's
know
her face
everyone-
from Emily, like Dornimer or whatever, from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, and I guess she's in Hunger Games or something now, and she has that haircut. In
Yeah,
that.
I think it looks really good, and everyone makes fun of it, and I'm like, but I like it. Anyways, so like the game ones that I play, you're like a character, and you get a choice of like 5 different guys, and they're like every single game is the same. Each guy has their own specific flavor. There's like the guy who's kind of cold and aloof. The guy who's like hot and cold. Sometimes he seems to like you, sometimes he doesn't. There's the guy that's like the older brother type who's very nice, but like not sexy.
Yeah.
And then there's like the smoldering sex guy, but he's always like way too aggressive. Like it's like whoa.
Wow.
He's stabbing.
rapey.
He's
Yeah,
stabbing.
His
at the
rape
breast.
stats are off the charts.
He's pretty rapey. And then like there's I played a couple of games where you're definitely like related to the guy.
Oh.
Like I was looking at one, it's like, do you really want to marry your uncle? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Why were you giving me the option?
It's
Yeah.
warning me to not,
So-
but it still gave you the option.
Like, there's a twist in all the games where you're related to the person.
Yeah. So they all swap out their faces are all the same because whoever's drawing them is not that talented.
No.
And they just swap out wigs and personalities, and it's the same thing over and over again.
Just like real life.
Yeah. And so you just pick a guy and you kind of play through the story, and every once in a while they'll give you dialogue options, and depending on whether you give the right answer, your ending will be better.
So there is a right or wrong answer?
Yeah, like, for example, if the guy's like, hey, do you want a hug right now? And there's like 3 different options. You can say no, you can say yes, or you can just move in for the hug, you know? And like, if you say no, he thinks you don't like him, but if you move in for the hug, he's like, whoa, that's
Too
too
aggressive?
So you have
Even
to,
though I asked if you wanted a hug,
Yeah.
the fact that you initiated it makes me afraid of you. Yeah.
So like, you have to pick the right one, and It's weird. And then at the end, you either get like bad ending or super happy ending. Like
I'm
poorly.
surprised you don't get grades in school like this. Like they should just make this a course, I think, for high school girls.
Yeah.
That'll really, really make everything great.
Don't be afraid to talk to girls.
Well, yeah, or
Boys.
try not to fart.
Try not to fart should be in schools.
Yeah, that's an important skill to learn.
Hold
And then,
it
like,
in.
there's
Right.
some where they, like, limit your energy, so you can only play through so many screens before you, like, to have to stop and recharge, which means you have to come back, like, 5 hours later.
Then he asks you to
Or
do
pay.
something, you're like, I can't, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to pay, or, like, there's ones where you're like, we'll give you more energy if you play this lottery, and you get so many lottery tickets, and you can pay for more. They just keep trying to...
Lottery tickets?
Yeah, you, like... There's a little lottery in there, and you can like pull a little lever. And
So
then
they add gambling into it. Is there like
Yeah.
microtransactions
Yeah, it's
then?
all- it's
all
okay,
microtransactions,
then
yeah.
Free to play, pay to
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Didn't see it yet, but this week South Park was about free games and microtransactions. We should probably watch it and then comment on it.
I saw
We
2
caught the
seconds
end
of
of
it.
it, yeah.
Okay. How was it?
The 2 seconds?
Yeah,
Well,
great.
yeah, top notch. One of the
Best
best
animation
episodes.
I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it just showed them doing Terrence and Phillip essentially doing Tapped Out for The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
Where he was like buying a house and he's just like, and now I have to wait for an hour. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that. Free to play got me like violently angry. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
So like that's why I had to quit out of Kim Kardashian, because you only get so many K stars, and you need like 40 K stars to get the good haircuts, like the Skrillex cut.
Right, and you can't keep playing without a good
And
haircut.
like, well, because you have to have the right outfits for everything. That's how you get all your bonuses. And like, you could have an outfit that works great, but once it gets so old, it doesn't matter if you mix it up with other stuff or whatever.
'Cause
It
it's-
doesn't count
it's outdated.
anymore. It's old, so you have
Yeah.
to constantly buy new stuff. And the stuff that costs the money that you make in the game is okay, but the stuff that costs K stars, everyone loves. You always get compliments. You always get all
That's
the
weird.
bonuses.
Yeah, it's
So-
weird that they want you
That's
to
so
constantly
bizarre.
keep paying.
Yeah. So, like, you just have to constantly be buying the most expensive stuff that they're like, yeah, you could play literally 40 hours in-game to earn enough, or you could give us $6. And I was like, no.
$6, that's pretty steep, even for a game like that.
Yeah. So, I had to stop because I don't care that much as I love wearing outfits and pretending I have a full sleeve tattoo.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it.
Anyway, okay, whatever.
Should we say goodbye to the nice people? Are you guys tired of talking to me?
I mean, I got a couple things to talk about, but
Yeah.
if it's
Fine,
not
then
important,
talk.
feel free. God.
I mean, she said
Is she going to be here every episode, Bill?
she said
You
her,
asked me to be
I know,
here!
I'm
she
kidding.
had her moment in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and talk.
We can do an actual.
Just a couple things, I'll just touch on them. So I finished Alien Isolation.
Okay.
Great. Loved it. I mean, I never found any problems with the game. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but there was never a point that really dipped for me. Some of the reviews said that the pacing was bad, but because of the way I played it, which was like 2 or 3 missions at a time I did the first like half of the game in like 2 sittings, and then after that it was like
Yeah.
2 or 3 missions at a time. So I was just kind of having fun with it. The pacing was never a problem. Story was fine. I wish there was like just little tidbit things, like there should have been a cutscene or more motion between, like there was like one thing, like the gameplay ended and then it went to a cutscene, and there was like something in between there that was probably pretty important that just would have helped clarify what happened.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm fine with it. Another good thing is I have all but like 4 of the achievements. So I just have to do it on hard and do it without dying. I don't know if I'm going to combine those runs or not.
Yeah, it should be easy
Well,
then.
yeah.
I only have 4 achievements. It's
Yeah.
beat it on impossible,
Yeah.
never get hit, never get seen, and
But I was afraid that once I played the game, I was then going to have to go through and get a lot of collectibles or play it
Yeah.
a bunch of times just to get random achievements. But luckily on my first playthrough, without focusing on achievements, just playing the game normally, I got almost all of them. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to going and play it again. I just might combine those 2 runs, the no deaths and the hard run, just so I don't have to play it another time.
that'll be tough.
Just because I don't want the game to get bad, and right now I still really enjoy it.
I'm just saying, like, well, I think the reason, I mean, we talked about last time, is I think what saved it is you breaking it up into chunks
Right.
instead of playing it straight through.
But it did feel like a full, complete experience. Like, if it wasn't for the achievements, I would not play it again right now. Not that I'm like, oh, I don't want to play anymore, but it's like, I feel like I've
You're satisfied.
Yeah, it's like I watched a 10-hour movie. In this case, like a 25-hour movie, and now I'm like, okay, I've done that. I've experienced that. I feel satisfied and fulfilled. So,
I will say, having obviously not played a lot of the game, I imagine trying to combine hard and not dying you're going to have some difficulty.
yeah.
So you might want to just try and it'd force you to play through it more, but you could do an easy speed run.
Well, I think I'm going to play through one hard, and I'm going to do my best not to die. And if it's getting too difficult, then I'll just finish the hard and then come back and do it on easy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I played the Evolve beta, or the alpha, actually. So I got a code for that. I played that for a couple days.
How was it?
It was what I expected. But I am a little bit worried about if it's a full game or not. Like,
what do you mean?
Like after playing, it's like the match. Like there's one thing, like you can play different characters, different roles, but the match basically unfolds the same way every time, and you're just playing like one game. So there's no story.
Yeah.
All the maps look exactly the same. I only started to notice a difference after like 3 days of playing nonstop, where I took note of what the maps were called. But
like,
when you're in the map,
right?
When you're in the map, they all look the same. The progression's okay, because you have to unlock other characters. You basically have to do little challenges for like every weapon or device you have, and then you unlock the next one, and then you unlock the next one. So like once I started getting the new characters, it was a little bit more fun because it was easier to play. But I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to hold my attention that long. Like after playing 3 days, a couple hours a day, it's like there's not much more in the game. So it's like I'm kind of almost over it at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to spend $60 on just a multiplayer only game where there's even not that much like dynamic within it.
Yeah. You're buying a deathmatch match type, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. And also what I did was I purposely didn't use my microphone because I wanted to see if I could play it without communicating with other people. And nobody was talking anyways. There was only 2 or 3 matches that I got into where people were talking. And also you can play with AI characters, just like, sort of Left 4 Dead. I noticed though the AI characters, I don't know if they're not balanced right yet, but if you don't know where the monster is, they're basically useless. Like even the tracker that has like the dog and stuff, the dog will just run in circles if it's not a player controlled character, which is kind of annoying. But then once you find the monster and are fighting it, they're super effective. So I think they just haven't balanced that right yet.
Yeah. Well, they probably aren't expecting a lot of, I guess, computer controlled.
Right, but also this is the alpha, then there's going to be a beta, then they're going to release it. But it's sort of like, I thought they were going to be completely useless if there was not, 5 people in the match. But it's like, no, they know what they're doing. But they know what they're doing right now too well. Like, they're switching, like, devices too well, they're healing too well. Like, it's harder to beat a team of all bots than it is just humans. The one cool thing is, though, if you're on the hunter side and there are bots, you can use the D-pad to switch to different roles. You can just quick swap to them. So if you wanted to, you could do things. But because they're so good on their own, you really don't need to at this point. So there's 3 characters for every class. So there's like 4 hunters and then times 3. So each different one. And then same with there's 3 monsters. They've only announced 2. And it's like I don't know. There's not that much variation within it. Because all the maps are the same, and because
everything I've seen even before leading up to the alpha, it's just been like, yeah, that's all it is. They've never announced anything for like single player. They've never announced any story. They've never announced any background. It's really just like you and 3 friends take on a monster, or you and 5 friends all play together, and one of you's the monster. Like that's the whole thing, which is great in theory, but again, as we talked about a long time ago, it's like, if you don't have that many friends, then you're just playing with strangers, and then it's not that interesting, because then you can't even, like, trash talk.
Yeah.
Or you can, but, prepare for repercussions and hate mail and all that sort of jazz. But otherwise, like you said, I mean, you playing it and just no one's either A, communicating, which is just boring, and B, if there's... Obviously, it's the alpha, so I have to assume if there's going to be more than this.
But the only thing they're really going to change is just...
balancing?
Attributes and stuff, just balancing, just maybe timing, but there's not going to be more to the game. They're not going to all of a sudden throw a story in there.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know,
That's not really a last minute detail they just toss in there.
I guess I'm just thinking, like, Valve's not usually, like, that bad. Like, I mean, like, Left 4 Dead, sure,
I
didn't
don't-
really have a story, but at the same
Is
time...
it Valve? I don't think it's Valve. I think it's just Turtle Rock.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Valve for some reason.
I don't think it is.
Okay. Someone can confirm on the internet
Yeah.
and then send us a tweet.
Tweet them.
But I was gonna say, there has to be something, right?
I don't know, and that's that. I mean, if you're playing with all your friends, it's great. It's fun. Like I was watching one of my other friends that gave me the alpha code, and he was playing with 5 friends. I watched the Twitch of them playing, and that seemed like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Like they were having a lot of fun. They were talking to each other. They were every round they were switching who they were.
I feel like it's still you'd get bored of it though.
Yeah,
Like even if you had, I know this isn't even possible. You had 5 friends all in the same room, which you can't do,
Yeah.
and you were playing. Like I'd still just feel like you play like 2 or 3 matches. You know, maybe you get to be the monster, and then you're one time, and then you switch off. But whatever, just like, all right, what else we got? What other
Yeah.
games we have? Can we
Yeah.
get some Nujitsu in here?
another thing too is I thought that the monster was going to be easier to play as starting off because you're on your own, so you don't have to rely on other people and you don't have to like learn stuff. But it's actually really hard. I think the hardest learning curve is the monster because especially at the beginning, you're super weak. If they find you and you're still level 1, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like you, not only can you not really fight them, but it's hard to get away from them. So it's like the first 5 to 10 minutes of every match is just you running around trying to evolve or them running around trying to track you. So the first 5 minutes, like nothing ever happens, which gets boring after a while, especially, I know it's just the alpha, but the load times were so long. There was so many load screens and they took so long that after a couple matches of that, and then you're like, okay, the match starts, it starts off super slow. Sometimes you can't even find them for 10 or 15 minutes. And then by then they're super strong anyways, and they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so the match ends if you kill the monster, if the monster kills all of you. Or if he evolves to level 3, there's like a power station in every level, and he can also destroy that. Also, if 20 minutes happen and
no one's done anything.
then it ends. I don't know who wins though because I've never gotten to that point. The first 3 games I got it was all past 19 minutes, but then either we beat him or he beat us. So I don't know what actually ends up happening, but so 20 minutes is the limit, but it seems like most matches are 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know. Like I said, it was kind of what I expected, but after playing it so much, I'm almost over playing it already. After 3 days.
That's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
Sign of a well-made game.
So,
Caitlin, what's your thought about Evolve?
It sounds like a thing with monsters.
Yeah.
it's true. It's accurate.
So far, so good.
And that's as far as I got.
It's do you remember when I played Left 4 Dead at all?
Yeah.
The zombie game?
Yeah.
It's like that, but somebody controls the zombies.
Okay.
But it just
But there's
like,
just one. If there's just
yeah,
one
there's
zombie.
just one zombie, and everyone just runs around and looks for him.
Um,
To me, like it sounds boring. It's really a party game.
I mean, for what it is, it's well made. But for me, at this point, I don't think it's enough. Like, if it was Left 4 Dead, just the multiplayer mode, is like, that's not enough to buy the game.
No.
It sounds interesting, but from what Chris describes, it seems flat right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has potential.
It's cool, though, because every map there are, like, indigenous wildlife that you, as the monster, have to kill and then eat to get power. But also,
Gross.
sometimes they're, like, super big and they will attack you. Or there'd be, like, a pack of wild dogs that, like, really hurt you. Or if you go in the water, they'll kill you. There's, like, giant crocodile monsters that will grab you or the hunters. So it's kind of fun that you have to balance that, too. And when you're running around as the hunter trying to evolve, there's, like, birds all over the place, like little flocks of birds. And if you get too close to them, you'll scare them and then they'll know where you are.
Yeah.
So you also have to balance all that. So, I mean, there's stuff going on. Like, it's fun, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But if there was some sort of story, even if it was like the Shadowrun attempt at a story where it's basically just 5 to 10 levels of tutorial, but it's all just you, like, doing something that makes cohesive sense,
Yeah.
that would be better than what is... I mean, they still could do that because that's easy, but...
I guess my thing is just what you were talking about with like the birds kind of triggered a thought in my head is just I feel that this is also going to be a game where you're going to get people who just become super good as like the monster and then it's
Yeah.
not going to be fun.
Oh.
Because depending on, you said there's 3 monsters, right?
Yeah.
And there's maybe, I don't know, 7 levels, we'll say, spitball.
Right.
So I imagine that they're like once you learn that blueprint of that level,
You know
and you get
what
good,
path to
you
take
get good
and-
as a monster or whatever
Yeah.
it is. You're just like, oh, I know if there's going to be around here, and so I can immediately get to level 2, and then here's how I'll get to level 3, and then it's just like, boom.
Yeah.
So the only time like they're going to even be threatened is if you find 4 people who are also all good at their position
Right.
to come take them.
And that's another thing too, because the way they set up the level progression now, it's like if you unlock a character, that character's better because they wanted, something to work towards.
Yeah.
If you like in the alpha, the highest level monster was the Kraken, which is just level 2. But we only beat the Kraken once, and that was because he was level 1 and he messed up. Anytime somebody picked the Kraken, if they had leveled up enough to get a Kraken, they could beat us every time, no matter what team we were.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously that's somewhat balancing also, but
yeah, I just feel like it's definitely gonna trigger itself to just being like someone gets super good as the monster, and
Yeah.
it's not gonna be fun for anybody. Because I feel like that balances. You have to go into every match going like, we can win if we play our cards right,
yeah.
and knowing that like if someone's just gonna
I did notice
be
that
like,
too.
oh shit, okay, we can't win because he's a level 5
Yeah.
and we don't stand a chance.
Yeah, if the monster knew what he was doing, at least in this early stage, they would win every time.
Yeah.
A cool thing is though, it lets you choose your like preferences, like you rank what position you want to be, like 1 through 5. That way, then when it matches you when it throws you in a match, then it tries to make everybody have their first choice. If not, you usually get your second. So, I mean that's a cool little thing they
Monster
added.
1, 2, 3, and
Right.
4. Then 5 is a disconnect.
Yep. Also, I was talking about how there was no multiplayer achievements for the Master Chief Collection. They've added a day one patch, 50 achievements, almost all of them multiplayer.
Good.
Almost all of them super hard multiplayer achievements too. It's like get 5 kills in the kick of the hill without dying, like within the hill, just stupid stuff like that. Like get like 4 different types of kills without dying, and they also added one which is stupid, which I don't think is possible, but it's beat. Like, there's one for each campaign and one for all of them, but beat every campaign in under 3 hours. And I don't think even unless if you're, like, actually super speed running it, like, using the glitches and tricks, that you can beat some of those games. Like, 1 and 2, I don't think you can beat in 3 hours. So,
Guess
stupid.
you'll find out.
Yeah.
So, they thought there was not enough achievements for that game. So, there's 450 achievements now.
You're going to have your hands full when that game comes out.
Yeah, it comes out on Tuesday, the same day that I have to start shooting pops.
We won't see you. I mean, regardless of the
Yeah.
pops thing, we won't see you for... Like, you're going to record the podcast, you're going to be playing at the same time.
Yeah, you can just sit next to me as I'm playing.
And you're just going to lean over your shoulder where the mic's going to be. And just like, yeah, no, I'm having a great time. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I don't... The more I hear about this, the more I'm just like...
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm glad that I don't plan on ever getting it.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't care about achievements, it would be fine.
Yeah.
And I still think it's okay. I was happy there was not
Game.
multiplayer achievements because it's like, okay, I'll get these whenever I want and I'll just play it here and there.
And
also,
now you have to do it before everything.
or now it's like I've so far I've never boosted any Halo achievements, multiplayer achievements. So
I think you're going to start.
yeah.
You're just going to want to get it done. That's
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Especially for the Halo 4 ones.
You're just going to want to, like... I mean, even you, the biggest Halo fan I know.
Yeah.
So I don't know that many
You
people.
you don't know that many people.
But, like, even you, I feel like, playing 4 Halo games, plus having access to the
beta.
The beta.
Yeah.
You're just going to be Halo'd out. So you're going to be like, okay... I'll play for a little bit legit, and then you're just going to be like, I don't want to even fucking do with this anymore.
Yeah.
Just set up one session to get them all. That's how I think it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But...
also, they released a documentary. I did quotes for that, but it's called like Remaking a Legend, which is like them making this game, and it starts off really interesting. It starts off as like a real documentary where it talks about like Halo 1 and like the release, and they interviewed both Joseph Staten and Marty O'Donnell, the 2 people that were fired from Bungie, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Also, side note, so I looked into it. I remember this happening at the time, but I forgot to when we were talking about Destiny Corner. So Joseph Staten actually works for Microsoft now. He works at Microsoft Studios, and he helped them ship Sunset Overdrive. And now
Okay.
he's working on Crackdown. So, anyways.
So he's still alive.
Yeah, because we were like, he left Bungie, but he didn't say where he was going. So I guess 4 months later, then he went to go work for Microsoft. So yeah, so the beginning of the documentary is really interesting. It's like a real documentary. They're interviewing people, both like gamers, people in the community, people that were involved in the game, people in the industry. Then the second half of it is basically just a commercial for the Master Chief Collection, and it's kind of like boring. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only like an hour long, so like whatever. But like the first part of it is actually very interesting, and the stories they tell about it, and they get some more information. One, because some of those people don't work at Bungie anymore, and also it's been so much time has passed. But Max Hoberman, who was the lead multiplayer designer for Halo 2, who now works with like 343 on other stuff, was talking about how, even though he was just on the multiplayer side, so he doesn't know for sure, but he said that for Halo 2 they cut out a third, if not half, of the campaign levels they had planned. And some of their multiplayer maps they created were from levels of the game that never ended up making it in. So, like, some of that stuff is interesting.
Yeah. But then just make a half-hour documentary and put it on the disc. Don't make an hour-long documentary. Make it half hours of actual documentary and a half hour of an advertisement for a game that you already have.
I mean, some of that stuff was interesting, too. Like, they went to Blur Studios, who's the guys that did the cinematics, which were super awesome, and they showed that they redid everything. Like, they motion captured characters and captured people's faces and stuff. That's why the characters look a little different, some of them. It's because it looks like the motion capture characters that they did. So, I mean, like, it was interesting, but like I said, the second half of it was a little bit too self-congratulatory, just like you were saying about the video game movie thing, where it's like, yeah, we're the greatest, we're the best, this is going to be the best game ever.
Yep. Kaylin can weigh in on that. You watched the video game movie with me.
I did watch the video game movie. I thought the video game montages where they just like put, like, it was a lot of fun for the first one. Like, it was a lot of energy, and I was like, yeah, this is getting me into it.
Plus, it was a Queen song, which you love.
I love Queen, so great. No, I enjoyed it despite the Queenness.
Yeah.
And then, like, it happens like every 20 minutes on the dot, and I was like, all right, we get it.
Here's a history of racing games.
Yeah. It was interesting, and I learned things, but like they blew through like the Genesis.
The stuff you actually wanted to hear about.
Yeah, like I only had a Genesis growing up, so like the Nintendo information means nothing to me. I'm like, what's a Mario? What is that?
What's a Mario?
So like they spend a lot of time on that, and they're like, everyone has these great memories. I'm like, not me.
Yeah.
So it was missing pieces for me. It was still interesting, but yeah, they spent way too much time being like, video games are better than books and movies and this because blah blah blah. And I was like, no, they're another form of entertainment, but you need to chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nerds, am I right?
Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's.
Don't look at this computer.
I mean, my only contribution is I ordered my computer.
Right.
Um,
It's like a giant tower, right? You have to step inside of it to play.
no,
It
I ended
glows,
up.
Yeah.
flames on the side.
It's Alienware.
It is an Alienware.
Nice.
I ended up
Did you get a laptop?
half compromise. I always said I wanted a Steam box.
Yeah.
And so Alienware was going to release a Steam box, but the Steam platform isn't ready, so they decided to release their box without Steam.
But you can still like use Steam games and stuff, right?
You can still. So it's kind of cool. What I was looking into it. First, it's not out yet, so I had to pre-order it.
Yeah.
I'll probably get it around Thanksgiving. But what it is it's just a tiny box that's smaller than the Xbox, smaller than the PlayStation 3.
Right. Yeah. It just looks like it's a little component box, basically, right? You just plug your stuff into it.
It just has like 4 USB ports on it. It doesn't even have a disk drive.
Yeah.
Which I'll probably have to get an external disk drive. But what it is it ships with an Xbox controller.
Nice.
And so they have, once you boot it up, there's 2 modes. There's the essentially like when Steam's platform rolls out, you can essentially just upgrade and make it a Steam box. But there's essentially mode where it's just like controller operated, where it's just like it immediately takes you to Steam. It only shows games that you can use a controller for. You just select the game and then it loads up like it would if you were playing on Xbox or PlayStation. Or if you have a keyboard and mouse set up, then you can select the second option, which is just
Computer?
desktop mode, which is essentially just goes into being a computer. But so hopefully, my worry is because since it's not out yet, I can't get the gist on like just how everything's gonna work.
Yeah.
So like I watched a bunch of hands-on videos of like people who got to kind of test it out. But obviously everyone is focusing on it being a game box as opposed to like
A porn hub?
a porn hub.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you know, how much porn can it hold?
Jerking it.
Well,
Yeah.
look, it's just like, oh, look, here's a comparison of them playing Tomb Raider on an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4, and this box.
Yeah.
Like, with just your basic installments. I'm like, oh, yeah, great, it looks great. And they're like, oh, yeah, it plays fine, you know. Whoop-de-doo, like it's on par where it, you know, it won't match the best Xbox One stuff, and it won't match the best PlayStation 4 on base value, but it'll still compete.
Yeah.
But like no information about the computer stuff. Just saying like, oh yeah, it does computer stuff too. So I'm just like,
it's a little troubling.
yeah.
It's basically going to be like a, you know, an iOS sort of.
Well, the thing is like, I want to still be able to like, if I want to work on my resume, work on my resume. If I still want to, like, I'm sure it'll have, you know, some sort of Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll, like, those are the basic stuff like that it'll have. But is it still going to be computer enough where it can still function as computer? Because it's like, oh, you can switch into desktop mode for like, you know, other games that require mouse and keyboard or that just aren't Steam related. And you can get an external disk drive so you could, you know, whatever, put in your disc games and play them and play music and stuff like that. So it's like, oh yeah, it's got all that. But like, I'm a little skeptical. But the good thing is the price was right for me.
That's good.
Initially, I was planning on dropping about $2,000 for a big.
But that's just to start because you would still have
Yeah.
to add components all the time. So
Yeah, so it was going to be $2,000 for essentially a desktop to put in the living room, and this came out to be less than $1,000.
Yeah.
So
That's way better.
yeah, so my long term, like my promise, I'm just like, if I get this and it doesn't function as a computer at all, then I will get like the bare bones laptop that can just be like internet and word processor hub.
Yeah.
And just no games, like no graphics card, nothing kind of situation.
You got to think it's going to at least do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's my
it should
hope.
be
He
okay.
is naturally pessimistic. He assumes it's gonna like explode if he tries to run word on it.
Yeah.
I think it's fair not to trust the internet and companies at this point. If they don't specifically say something, because they always like make a big deal of like, oh, this thing turns on and like, oh, it connects on to the internet.
Yeah.
What? They have that now?
So if they don't say something, you're kind of like,
Well, that's the thing too, because it was built to be a Steam box, and a Steam box is not
Just
supposed to
a
be
gaming
computer.
platform, right.
It's just supposed to be a gaming platform, and that's what kind of scared me. It's just like, yeah, I want to play games on it, but I also I'm in need of a computer.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh yeah, you can switch to desktop mode, and it's totally a computer.
It's totally
Is
a
it?
computer.
No, like none of the
Computer-ish.
none of the like hands-on ever went into that because they only wanted to do game
right.
comparisons.
It's literally just an image of a desktop, but you can't click
Yeah.
on
It's
like a
anything.
wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like look at all these icons you have.
Desktop mode.
Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm excited.
You know what it is? It's nothing but the old After Dark screensavers. So it's like the flying toasters.
Right. That'd be great. The little Windows guy.
And then we can get Caitlin her Sims 4.
I look forward to murdering a lot of families in Sims 4.
Yeah.
Accidentally or on purpose.
You know what? Sometimes it varies.
Yeah.
Once I
However
think,
you're feeling.
yeah, Phil I think told the story last time where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this through and let them die of old age. I'm gonna be nice and let them live. And then both of them were immediately crushed under a meteor. Like the moment I made that
I think
resolution.
the game heard you.
Yeah. I was thinking it. The game can read my thoughts.
Yeah. Also, you were there for part of the game marathon. What were your impressions of that? How did you feel about that?
I liked Fibbage a lot.
Yeah.
I was a little sad because we didn't have as much of a crowd this year. Like, we just weren't as good about, like, telling people about it and all. So, like, it was really fun last year when you guys, I don't know what the game is called, but the game where you basically just ran a car into other cars as fast as
Right,
possible.
yeah. Burnout.
Yeah.
Everyone just got so excited about it, and it was adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, Miguel was back and hanging out and supporting us, which was super cool. And I wish we had someone manning, like, the messages.
The chat,
because I could
yeah.
see. So I think it was fun, but we need to be more on top of it. I say we, like I have any involvement. I was just like, what snacks do you guys want?
I mean, you were there. You were part of
Yeah.
it, so.
Yeah, you were part of the first one too.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was like, you don't have to do this. You have to work. I don't want to force this on you.
Yeah.
And then you still would hang out till 2 in the morning to.
That's because I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Never forget this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, I feel like it could have been better.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we talked about it, but like the big resolution for next year is just to make sure that we have somebody manning.
Yeah.
I think also you guys need to get your food situation in order. You need a meal plan.
Yeah, I know. If I wasn't like on the brink of death that whole week, there was a lot of things I would have done differently.
Yeah.
But
Because when you guys were talking about last time, you're like, oh, here's what you need to do. I know it's recording, but I want to be like, nope, I have advice as well. And it's like, have your food situation worked out in advance.
Yeah.
So people know when they can eat, and it will definitely be there because people get hangry.
well, see, that was
You
the thing
don't
too.
want that.
We
Hungry and angry.
yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, I was not expecting it to be more than Phil and I for 90% of the time.
Yep.
So I thought we could just figure it out.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like a party situation.
Yeah, well,
Otherwise, we would have planned a little better.
I'm permanently stuck in mom mode. I'm just
Yeah.
constantly worrying that people get enough to eat. So like that's
Which
my
is
thing.
ironic.
Yeah, I don't need
For
to.
somebody who doesn't eat.
I
Yeah.
don't need to eat to live, but other people do. Phil makes fun of me. I like have graham crackers and stuff in the back seat. He's like, "We have no children. Why are you carrying
Yeah.
around
God.
children's snack food?"
Carry juice in your purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if someone needs it?
Yeah.
So okay, besides the food, what are your tips for the game marathon?
The food thing, obviously. And I think just having a better, like I said, Burnout was great. Everyone was really into it.
Yeah.
Just having a better idea of like what works for a large group. So like it's not only fun for the viewers, but it's fun for the people there because like they pick up on your energy. Like the viewers can tell if you're having a lot of fun. And
Or if we're
everybody's,
sitting
like,
there in darkness and silence.
yeah. If you're just being creepy and sad, it
Yeah.
kind of brings everyone else down. So I'd say like make sure the energy is up in your room as well.
So burnout from the first year and then fibbage from the second year.
Yeah, those were ones
Yeah.
like on both sides of the camera. It was fun for everyone.
Yeah, the only thing is, we didn't have the catalog we had to work with last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully we still found some fun stuff. And there was plenty of games we didn't play that if we do end up doing another marathon this year, we could play completely different games the whole time.
Yeah.
And then 8 hours of basketball.
8 hours of basketball.
You have no idea how happy he was about basketball and
Yeah.
then how sad that he can't have it.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it for my computer.
Yeah.
That's already decided.
Also, do you have any tips for ladies out there who have boyfriends that play video games?
I would definitely say, even if you think it's like he's playing his video games, try and get involved. Like, I have a friend whose husband is also really into video games, and he's like, no, I can't have my worlds crossed. You can't play with me. She doesn't seem like it, but like back in the day, we like played the Spice Girls game together.
Oh,
We
so
played
she's
some-
hardcore.
She's real hardcore, but she's like perfectly willing to get involved. And he's like, no, this is my world. But there's tons of games that you can play together. You don't have to think of it as like, no, I need my destiny. You go do whatever it is you do with your free time.
Yeah, go braid each other's hair.
Yeah.
There's only one of me.
So like
Yeah.
it works both ways. Like dudes, don't be afraid to like get your girl involved because chances are you will find at least one game that will appeal to her because there's a shit ton of games and some of them are weird and dumb like Barbie Horse Adventures, but if that's what brings someone in, then that's like a gateway sort of thing. And I think also some people are just too like willing to dismiss like, that's really dorky. I'm not going to get into that because again, you could find one that's super fun. So I just say keep an open mind and like if someone says, "Hey, do you want to play?" just maybe try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, the sentiment, talking for the boy perspective.
Yeah.
I think we have enough boy perspectives, but please go ahead.
We've
But-
had more than enough.
I was
boy
going to say,
perspective.
like, because I was so scared to admit to gaming that essentially it's just like, if it's a big part of what you do, then you really can't, like, hide that forever. So it's
Right.
best to just kind of
hide your shame.
just get the cards out on the table, I guess.
Yeah.
And like you said, like if, find a game that you can both play. Obviously, you both probably won't enjoy Duke Nukem. I don't think anyone will
No,
enjoy Duke
No
nobody
one likes
has enjoyed that
no
game.
one likes that.
But like, yeah, find a Lego game. Because, I mean, I would say Lego's like the perfect starting point.
It's good.
Yeah.
They have it for everything, whether,
Whatever franchise you're into, they
It's
have
going to be
it.
Yeah.
Lego Harry Potter probably 90% of the time.
well, yeah, you have Lego Harry Potter, it's an easy one.
Well,
but
like
even
Indiana
like,
Jones, everyone loves those movies.
Yeah.
yeah, and they had Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, like...
Where Johnny Depp did his own voice. It's
Yeah.
just him going like...
Oh!
Yeah. It was on
Unlike-
pantomime.
Even like when I was not into games at all, like between me just doing whatever my brother did and me dating Phil and getting back into video games, I still had my DS. I still had a PlayStation and I had a couple games where I think people just have systems now. So even when you, and mobile games too, like you don't think of yourself as a gamer, but everybody has games now.
Yeah.
Whether you realize it or not. So you probably are into a game that you can play with your significant other already and you just don't realize it. I know I'll never get Phil to sit down to Kim Kardashian, but
I've sat down to it, but then I broke your phone.
yeah, you did. But like there was a mobile game that we were playing together, right? Middle Manager of Justice was one.
Played Middleman Justice. We did Tiny Tower.
Yeah, we were doing Tiny Tower together.
Death Star
Tiny
edition.
Death
Yeah,
Star.
they pulled that from the marketplace. Did you see that?
Yeah, because now it's Lucas.
Uh-huh.
Well, Disney, I guess I should say.
But like, even if you're not necessarily playing cooperatively, you can still compare and contrast. Like, what? You have that cafe? I don't have that yet. I want that.
Yeah,
like,
I started playing Tiny Tower with my sisters and stuff, and because you can see the other people's
yeah,
towers,
you can send each other's gifts and stuff.
we would name like all the different stores and stuff, like things that existed in the real world, and so we were trying to compete. Like, could we open one of those stores before somebody else did? Because if they opened it up, we had to name it something else.
Well,
So-
my
Who
sister,
got the first Radio Shack?
No, it was more like specific things, like that there's only one of, rather than just like
Oh.
chains and stuff. Yeah.
My sister and I were doing it. We were like making up different names to amuse each other, like
Yeah.
to see who could make the other person
Right,
laugh
they were like
the hardest.
references to things,
Yeah.
or yeah.
And like,
Good advice, dear.
thank you.
Speaking for all the gamers out there, the gamer gals.
Gamer gals. That's what we call ourselves, not just ladies.
No, there's a starting moniker.
Alright, cool. So yeah. Girls and boys play with each other? Is that-
That's our new sign off, guys.
Girls and boys go
play with each other. But before we officially sign off, I guess you can follow us on Twitter.
No.
Yeah.
Make Phil
You
buy
guys
an
just
actual console.
record that.
I feel like you got to do it every time.
Yeah.
All the other podcasts I listen to do it every time. So yeah,
If all the
we just
other
got to be more.
podcasts jumped off a cliff, would you?
I don't know how they would do that, but
I think they just.
Recording on the way down.
yeah.
I'm jumping off a cliff!
Anyways, at Not Fun Podcast on Twitter.
Yep.
And you guys have a Facebook page.
Yep, we do.
And you have a website. This
Uh-huh.
isn't funnyOrPodcast.com.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
And Phil has a secret porn site, which is him holding controller over his parts.
Don't give the website out for that. We don't have enough bandwidth to support that.
www.philspornstash.mustache.gov.
.biz /
Mustache.biz.
So what did I miss? Did I get
No,
it?
I mean, you hit all the key points.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason you guys still want to donate to the Extra Life charity, that is still going on for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tweet to these guys. I'm not even joking when I say they cry themselves to sleep every night they don't get one.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of blows our...
I didn't know she realized that I did that. That's
I have cameras in here.
yeah. I
Anything
figured.
you want to promote personally?
It's all those teddy bears you gave me.
They're all nanny cams.
Yep.
No, I don't have anything going on the internet that I need to promote.
We threw this out there once, but I did cut it out, that if you want us to promote you guys personally on the podcast, really great at getting the word out there. So we figured if you
Huge
want us to
audience.
promote your Twitter or your Facebook page, just let us know. Just throw us $1 or $2. We'll see your name on the podcast.
You mean
A whole
just
dollar?
attention. Just give them even a little bit of attention.
Like I said, even if it's hate, we'll take it at this point.
No.
I sometimes consider tweeting to you guys, but then I feel like you'd be like, no, that's too sad.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. Love you.
We'll take it.
Yeah. It's one step away from like your mom tweeting at
Yeah,
you.
no, that's exactly what I was
My mom
Yeah.
doesn't have Twitter, otherwise she totally would.
Yeah. All right, boys and
What's
girls.
the official sign-off?
Oh yeah, boys and girls play with each other.